Jovan, Senyonga. Nice to meet you all. Down there is my judge.
Hey, what's a judge?
I am just shocked to see you guys here today. But don't worry, you know. That's really true.
So basically, I'm a building surveyor, or you can call me a setting out engineer.
You know what?
Setting out engineer.
My name is Jonathan Kyeyune.
You have a great name.
And I'm an electrical site manager. I deal everything in regards with the electrical on site. I can do a lot of things that cover all the electrical sector as well, in regards with from installation and everything. I can, that's what I do.
He's downplaying his abilities, like I told you, he will tell you, but he downplays his abilities. He's currently managing a site that was running behind, all right, and he's in charge of making sure that he tests the building before it goes out to the public. So he's in charge of installations. After the installations are done, he will test the building, give it a certificate and allow. So in case you didn't know, any public building has to be tested and certified before they allow the public to actually use it. This is what this gentleman is doing. And he's managed to do that within a space of, both of them, within a space of 4 years, I think. You came in 2020, you started 2021, about 3 years, So we're not able to project, but he's a black card holder. I don't know if anyone understands how these cards work, but he's a black. That is the top of the top. In terms of you can't get better than that as a black. And he's done that within a space of just 3 years. He is a gold card holder. Yes. And I have all the pictures here. Unfortunately, we can't project them, but he holds a gold card. And all of that has been achieved within just a space of 3 years. So it is a testament to what can happen if you're dedicated. I remember meeting these guys. He was 19, he was 18. And I think when I took Jonathan to the first site I took him to, they kept telling me, this looks like your love child. They were teasing me because he was very timid. And I told the guy that was taking the course to look after him very well. And before they left that site, he was offered a job, right? So we're going to talk about that journey from where we started to where we are now. So Jonathan, could you tell us a little bit about your journey from when you did your first CSCS card to where you are now? Yeah, he's 22.
And he's a black card holder.
Yes.
My journey started in 2021 in April when we met with Edwin. I started with a CSS course that I failed the first time, and I was really depressed for failing it. I nearly failed by 2 questions. That was really annoying. And of course, as they say in life, if you're always going to fail, it's not going to be good and good and good and good. It's not going to be smooth. I didn't give up. The next time I went back, that's why I remind him, and I'm like, I got 100%. I still have it in my file, that certificate. So it wasn't easy, but I was very happy when I scored that. And then I got my first job on the construction site. It was my first time. I'm young. When they look at you, they don't want to let you in. But I was lucky that it wasn't a busy site. It was a small site. But because we talk about the story about a broom, the former site manager, the first day, he gave me a broom and he's like, I want to see this in your hand every time I see you. I should have it every time. So it was, keep on trying, but I felt like it wasn't enough for me. So I did it for 2 weeks and I moved on to something else that was a traffic marshal. It was a traffic marshal. After that,
then we went on to the A20.
Yes, then I was a hoist operator.
What is that?
A hoist is if you look on the building sites, mostly on the tall buildings, there's a machine like a lift outside the building that takes people up and down.
Essentially, it's a lift.
It's like a lift. But I'm someone that's scared of heights, but I had to do it. And I was on a job in Canning Town, and it was next to the Thames, and it was very cold and windy. And whenever I got to like level 8, I'm looking at the water and I'm like, oh my God.
He's not telling you the full story. He went back home. I think he should tell you what he told.
When I went back home, I just told my mom, like, these men want to kill me.
He thought they wanted to drop him in the Thames.
And there's a time it gets stuck. Sometimes it gets stuck and you have to manually bring it down. You're on the top of it. So it was, but we had the training, so you have to do your job because you're a trained operator. So
perhaps what he needs to explain to you, when a hoist gets stuck, say you're on the 10th floor, you have to climb onto the roof of the hoist. Then manually bring it down to the next level. But his hoist was next to the Thames. The trouble with that is every time you're next to a river, it becomes windy. So as the hoist goes up the building, it becomes a lot more shaky. By the time you're on the 3rd floor, it's already shaking quite a lot. So young Jonathan was, for his first job, in such a hoist, and it broke down. So the guy on the radio, the guy told him, you know what to do, bring it down. So he had to climb, and that's why he went back home and told mommy, I think these guys want to kill me. They want to drop me in the Thames.
So then when some incidents kept on happening, I was like, let me go back to something else. I went back to the groundwork, which was the traffic marshal and all this, but in that period of time I started doing my electrical courses at Training Skills UK Barking. So because I had interest in, because the first time we met him, he gave us these courses of CSS labor and stuff, but he told us, I'm not going to tell you what to do. When you go out there, have a look, see what you're interested in. See, when you have a look at something, it's better off when someone looks into something and they choose to do it by themselves without someone telling them to go and do it. So that's what I did. I remember we had in class studying about the hoist. We studied about the hoist for an hour, then we went to other things. That's how good it is.
It's not about me. It's about you.
So
it's about you.
We spent other time talking about electrical courses, and he didn't really give me this. I look at it like a fisherman. They would teach you how to fish, and you go and fish for yourself. He just told me about, you should look into this. When I went back on site, I started looking at these electrical people, how they do the work, how can I get there and stuff. Then I just made a phone call. Where this guy you talked about, I want to go start doing this course and get there as quickly as possible. It wasn't quick as I expected it to be. It was a really tough journey. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of dedication, but I finally made it last year. I got qualified.
He's missed out a lot.
And yeah, I've missed out a lot, but through the journey is...
Okay, I think when we did the hoist course, we met on a Sunday afternoon, and the course was supposed to be about 5 hours. And we did this course within an hour, and I sat with Jonathan. I remember we sat in the class, we were just the two of us, and I asked him, what do you want? Because he was asking me, I want to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. I told him, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want you to go on a site, look at what you want to do. Ask those people how they got to do that, then you come back to me. Yeah. Then we drew a plan as well. We drew a plan for his journey, what I wanted him to achieve within 3 years. So he had to get himself a driver's license because he needed that for the job. he had to get himself a long term, because we drew an immediate kind of, we set SMART goals. So what he could do in the immediate, which was to get a job that gives him some money, that money would fund the next course. Because remember, he was here for less than a year, so the government couldn't fund him. So for his first course, he had to pay for that himself. Money was not paying any more money. So, which he did. He got himself a job. Then we did the hoist, which was mid-term, but then obviously going up in that hoist was unnerving him. So he asked me what to do next. I told him, no, go back to the site and find out. And once we finish with that, you will then come back to me and we work on that. So he comes back to me and tells me he wants to become an electrician. So I have another company I work with, a colleague and friend of mine. So I took him, Jonathan, and he told me Jonathan is too young. These kids, they just waste time.
The guy just, when he gave me the phone call, so I called this guy and I'm like, I want to come and organize and get to know how to start. When I turned up at his office in the college with my mom, he just told me, I don't take on people of your age. They don't turn up in class on time. I have no time to chase you to get assignments done. So they had a chat, I don't know separately.
Yeah, we had a chat and I told him, you will be shocked at how different this kid is. You just need to give him a chance. If he fails you, I'll pay you. But give him a chance, you will be in shock. Because he showed me how dedicated he is. So Ben gave him a chance. And basically he's been so shocked. Everywhere he goes, just like me, he talks about him. You know? So he's gone there, done the course, and basically after doing that course, it's a pity we couldn't show you. He's got an arm's length of qualifications. To get to that point, you've got to do a lot of stuff. But I remember part of that discussion we had that Sunday evening was about him not only doing this, but also getting himself onto the property ladder, right? And we talked about that with these two gentlemen, yeah? And he's now going to tell you his story, how from, I think we start from the CSCS and how you moved. He's a lot more talkative, so you're going to get a lot out of him.
Actually, it's not. Basically, the first time CSS I failed. It was no surprise because, you know what I'm saying, if you've been to Uganda and you've done them tests are far away different, you know what I'm saying, they are totally off. So whereas here, you have to go on a computer, once it's in, that's it. There's no going back. There's no chance I'll go back and check. So we did that, we failed. Went on again the following week, we passed. So I'm good. And I went for the traffic marshal, like the next ticket. I did that one, but I was like, now you're there, something was missing still. I went ahead to do the slinger. I hope if you've seen
the slinger?
So slinger, you work on cranes. If you've seen the cranes, the tow cranes, basically the driver is up, but you're going to be down here doing the rest of the work. So you just tell him come
what
down.
Are you doing then?
So
you explain.
So basically you attach the load to the crane, talk to him, say start coming up, start going down, it's going here, it's going here. He does not see. Like that's the rule, like he does not see, so his eyes.
And you're called a slinger.
Yeah, so slinger, he's called a slinger signaler because you signal to him sometimes. Yeah, but
Explain that
yeah, you
a
can
little bit. By the way, these are the many traits that if you're a young person here, you can get into in construction. A slinger signaler is a person that attaches the load, that is to sling. To attach the load to the crane is to sling. Then to signal is for you to communicate with the crane driver who in many occasions cannot see the load from their position. So at that point it's a blind lift because they can't see. So you're talking to him until he gets this load up to a point where he can now see the load. You continue talking to him because you're on the ground, you can see the load from where you are, and there are angles he can't see until he lands the load to where he's going. You are in charge, right? So that's what he was doing. It can be physically demanding and also mentally demanding because many times, as you can see the weather here, the weather can become windy, and if it does, then you have a problem. there is a swing on the load, and obviously you have to maintain that. And at some point, you can no longer control the load because you no longer have the tagline on the load. Sometimes you'll have a tagline like a rope on the load, but if it goes really high, you've got to let go of the tagline. So at this point, you should have really slammed the load correctly for it not to fall out. Yeah, so that's what he was doing.
Wow, no pressure.
Nah, you go pressure. It's pressure. I mean, in some occasions, you got what we call complex lifts, and you've never seen it anywhere, but you have to take it. He has to go somewhere from A to B. Yeah, so I was doing that one. Then I have a friend. He's an Eastern European friend, and I met him, and I'm like, he's an engineer. I'm like, I want to do that, and he's like, you have to do this and this and that. Then I found out, like literally the same course was on university. You have to go to uni, and to go to uni, that's a long process. That's another 3 years down to wait for government funding. Whereas there is a certain college where you have to go for it, but you can pay private and do for the same course. Was about £6,000. And now I'm the slinger, so I had to work for that to fund the course.
Wow.
Yes, and I managed to do it. That was last year, but one.
Wow.
Yeah, luckily enough, I know how to speak to the big guys. I talked to one of the big guys. He was like, "All right, I'll give you like a shot." So one time I'm on site slinging, and then once the load goes and someone is gonna land it, I'm like, "Can I have it's like an instrument. They used to set out the buildings and stuff." He asked me one word, "Do you know how to read the drawing?" I'm like, "Yes." "Can you rotate it?" I said, "I can." He gave me a shot, like from site, fresh start. You're doing another job, it's like, there you go, have it. And I'm like, all right, I have to shoot one shot now. I was nervous, but I set out like 3 columns. So setting out, for example, this column, after you pour the whole slab, there's nothing there. It's only the steel bars coming out. So you have to set it out. When someone else comes, like the shutter guy, he's gonna come and close it. But
you need to explain these things.
Yeah.
Who is a shutter?
Right. So the shutter carpet is like a chippy.
Who is a chippy?
So the chippy is okay. It's like a formwork. So it's called formwork. So you go steel fixers. The guy who work with the steel bars. Yes,
Use this.
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
it to them.
So basically, this is a column, right? Let's say it's composed of concrete. Basically, once we pour the slab, the steel bars are sticking out to show that the column is there. But now there's what we call a steel fixer, the guy who makes the column from the ground, from the steel. He's going to have to drop it in. But he cannot drop it in when he doesn't know exactly where the column is because they change. Sometimes you have to shift by 50 mil, come back by 50 mil, it's totally off. But, so when the engineer comes in, you have to come and set out the columns like 3 corners of it. Then, once he drops in the column, the shutter carpenter, so what we call shutters is what we use to close the column before you pour in the concrete. So you get it. If you ever seen in Uganda, they use timber and then they put like some stuff under to make it straight. So that's the shutter carpenter. Just to make one column, it's like 3 guys work. But then I was not doing the engineering part. Then I had gone to school, had my card in my pocket. I showed the guy my card. He was like, okay, because some people get cards online in the illegal way. And then when you come to work, it's like, I got 15 years experience, he has never done it. So when they hire him, it's another different story. So I had my card in my pocket. I showed him, he's like, all right, I'll give you a shot. He gave me the instrument, it's called an EDM. I think you know it. Yeah. It's called an EDM, so it's like an instrument we use to measure the column. Once you get the drawing from the architect, comes to the structure engineer, they give it to me. I'll pick the exact parts I need, transfer the same stuff to the instrument. So it's now a drawing, but it's in soft format, kind of. It's in literally blue and red, kind of. Then you set out the column. then another works come like that. But now the setting out part is difficult. It's kind of difficult. Because basically, when you're holding that stuff, it's like, come 1 foot behind, 2 foot. So if you have like 100 columns, you need to be fast. So basically you have to do like 20 columns in like 30 minutes. Because let me say, we finished pouring the slab today, because slabs dry around 3 hours to dry. So the next day you have to do like 30 columns to go. And that to do, if you're the engineer, you need to be fast, because let me say, yeah,
Everyone's waiting for
everyone
you.
is waiting
Job
for you.
can't go ahead without you doing that.
So you come in the morning, 7 o'clock, but you have to go up straight away, because these guys in dressing room, by the time they have like 30 minutes to drink, so you need to be like ahead by like the half slab. You need to be ahead, so that's around like 10 columns in 30 minutes. I literally had this shot and I had to go for it. I managed to do 5 in like 20 minutes. He was like, after I did that, he shook his head. He was like, I would hire you. But he was not the owner of the company, but he told me that. So I was like, all right, I proved him right. I go back to my singing. Like no more day in the evening, it's like, he gave me a phone call. Jovan, can you send me all your tickets, please? Everything you got. I sent it. I was on a different job. They had moved from one side, they gone to another side. To cut the story short, I'm on a train. I was going home now. I get a phone call. Jovan, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Old Kent Road. Meet me there. We haven't agreed the price yet. We haven't agreed anything yet. I'm green. Because now it's a big job here, like you're going out. And I'm like, okay, I'll come then. Then at first thing I did a rush to mom. I'm like, what should I tell my old boss so he doesn't get mad? Because the problem is, once you work this week, you get paid the following week. So if you leave, there's a chance that you will not get paid. So I have to go back. Mom told me, send him a message. Then I'm like, all right, I had to rush back. I'm like, please, I'm meant to go this. Luckily enough, he's a Ghanaian guy. He was understanding, was like, all right, I'll give you that. Then he allowed me there. I got a job. This was the hardest part. I've never been so stressed. You know, if you're not doing something, and you look, let me say, at a pastor, you'll be like, pastor is easy. I'm the deacon, but the pastor is easy, but it's totally different.
Yeah.
So I was a slinger, but I could only see this guy coming out to set. He's in break. Every time he's just standing. The engineer job does not start that day. That job started like 5 years or 3 years. But that 3 years is in the paperwork. He hasn't started yet. So by the time he starts, he already started a long time ago. He just keeps changing and changing and being reviewed. I enter the office and it's like, Jovan, here's your desk, here's your laptop. I'm happy to have a desk. I'm like 22, I have a desk, I have a laptop. And I'm like, all right, here we go.
Coming from the cold.
Coming from the cold. Yeah. First time, it's like, send me your email. I sent him my email, and I've never had my email busy before. He sent me like 20 floors. And I had to deal with them. We haven't been there yet, but I have to deal with them. By the time we're there, like, you know everything about it. He gave me the drawings on the paperwork, and I'm like, no way. I remember going home, and I went to sleep straight away. I didn't talk to anyone. I was like, no, this is not true. And then I was like, all right. I talked to the Russian guys, like, he was friendly. He was too friendly, and he's like, okay, I'll show you around how it goes. Show me how it goes. I started working, but now we agreed with him. He was good at the computer work. So he was doing the office work, I was doing the outside work, like the setting out on all the jobs. And then I'm working now at Ilderton Road, Old Kent Road, and now I got another house. I'm working on private house. I didn't know it was for the owner of that, like of the company. And then I'm working as an assistant, something like that. And my worst nightmare comes in. One time I go visit the owner of the house. We're going to work on his project, his house, his son's house. We go there and he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Jovan. Is like, how come I don't know you? Because maybe, you know what? He was an Irish guy, and Irish guy are not good with us blacks. So, Sorry. I forgot I'm on the recording. So basically, they'll cut that one. They'll cut that one. So to be honest, the guy was not good with us. And he was like, I don't know, you're working for me. I'm like, okay. So I just carry on my work. Then later, I have a phone call. And then one of the guys is like, the boss is not happy with the money I'm paying you. He said I'm paying you a lot of money. But now, I'm working on one job. I'm getting paid money for one job, but I'm working on 3 sites. So I was like, I'm using it as experience, but I was like, I'm giving you more money. And then I had
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I think there's a bit that he's missed. Basically, what he's trying to explain, the company he was working for, the owner of that company had a son, which son had a house that was being built. So he goes to actually do some work on that house. That's where he finds his boss.
Okay.
But the boss didn't know who he was. So then the boss asks him who he was, tells him. Long story short, he goes back to the office. Then the boss calls his manager and tells him, we're paying this guy too much money. Purely, I think, we had this discussion, purely because he saw a very young guy, and he saw who this very young guy was, and he's thinking, why am I paying him this much money, right? And you've got to remember, a lot of times, we are not in this space.
Yeah.
And also, you get a very young chap in that space, earning that much money. They just used to see a name on the spreadsheet. Now they put a face to the name and they're thinking, this face does not deserve this much money. Yeah? So that's what happened. He's had similar situations.
Similar situations. The way I look, when I turn up in these offices and I present my cards, they look at me like I've just gone on a new job recently, I told them. But when I receive a new job, they look at you, your age, you're young, you're coming to certify people's work, and it's really...
And it challenges a lot of
It's a big challenge because I had this challenge when I was still even studying. I'm not attacking the adults, but I was in class and I was the youngest in that class. But I tell my mom most of the time, and I tell Edwin as well, I don't look at the people's age because they have had the issues that I don't know about. But whenever you turn into these offices, but when they see what you do, like I've worked on this job for 3 weeks now, but I've just signed a contract last week. So it's you have to just prove people that what they see in you is not what you are. Because when I went to the college, he's a good man that I worked with where he took me, but when they see what you do, it shows them a different picture.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I think to the young people in here, you are going to come across these hurdles. You will definitely come across these hurdles. People are going to judge you because of what you look like. It's your job to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself. So that means you have to learn your craft so well that you do not give them any chance. You have to give them no chance. Do not hand them the stick to beat you with. You must make sure you're there fast. Keep time, okay? You must be punctual. You must do exceedingly better than anyone else, okay? Because he was telling me about the current job he's on. There is a guy who was bad-mouthing him, and then someone came and told him about it. But the moment he started bad-mouthing him, the boss told him, shh, don't tell me about Jonathan. He's here later than you, he's willing to work out of hours, and he's getting the job done. So your problems with him, I don't want to know. So then this guy turns around and starts coming to Jonathan, trying to befriend him. Because he's been put in his place because of what he's willing to do. So again, to the young people, you've got to work harder, outwork everyone else. So that when they're looking to actually dismiss you or whatever, that does not happen. They've gotten rid of how many electricians? 14 just last week. They still keep, and they gave him a contract. While they were getting rid of everyone else, he was being given a contract. All right, don't.
So basically, I continued to work for that company, but indirectly, because one of the managers was like, I like you, but you're gonna have, I had to sit back because the money was literally low. And I'm like, I have to quit the job now.
So he refused the offer.
I refused the offer from the big guy, and I'm like, nah, it's not working. So I went back home. I was sleeping, then I got a phone call from a manager's like, I'm gonna let you work in, but make sure he does not see you. I like it enough, he hasn't seen me up to today.
So you can imagine those working conditions. In order for him to get the same money again, they had to bring him back. On paper, he's a slinger. Because the guy was paying him less money than a slinger gets, yet he's an engineer. So in order for him to get the same money, they had to now re-register him as a slinger while he's working as an engineer. Those injustices are going to be there. Yeah.
So I was working like that, and luckily enough, I was able to finish up, carry on, because now I got another job. I got told last week, but I got a job coming up in Vauxhall. And yeah, I'm really one of the engineers. Oh, through that's last year. Last year I was able to get my first house.
So tell us about how you got this house. I mean, Jovan is 23 years old and is a proud owner, is a landlord in England. Yeah? I think we need to emphasize that this young man has a property, owns a property, not shared ownership, no, owned by him. Okay, he's paying a mortgage. Okay, and the location, you need to tell them the location of your flat. It's not in the ghetto.
So I bought a house in Canary Wharf, just a little bit outside Canary Wharf. It's about 8:14.
So when did you invite me? I think it was the 23rd of December. Yeah. I've been to the house, so it's not fictitious. Yeah. it does exist, and he's done it up as well, right? So it no longer looks the way he bought it. Okay, he's done it up, and he's got a parking space as well. Yeah, he's just bought a car. He refused to buy a car for a very long time, and he has this one pair of shoes that he wears that his friends tease him about. And they tell him, Jovan and Jonathan. No, it's not this one. No, I've not seen this one before. This is the Sunday best. Sunday best. So yes, he's got one for Sunday and one for every day. And so he's a very frugal man. So I've told him to enjoy himself a little bit. He's worked so hard to get where he is. Yeah. And the next house we're going to is his. Yeah, so at 22, so we've allowed him to get to 23, so that at 23 he can get it. So yeah, it's gonna be 22. So he wants to beat him to it. He is going to beat. At 22 he gets himself a house, right? So you can see, I think from this, the challenges that people are going to face, our young people are going to face these challenges. He's had to do a job undercover. Can you imagine? He's qualified, all right, but he's being forced to work under such circumstances, but he's not giving up. Same thing applies to Jonathan. He came to me one time telling me that there was this guy picking on him at school. At work. Tell them about that guy. Story.
So, because your boss's capability in you, and they see you can get the job done, there will be days when they can't turn up to work. And they'll be like, Jonathan, can you go in the meeting for me? So I turned up in the meeting several occasions. Then I think once of the occasions, this guy is like, there's something to turn up in a meeting. You should be a supervisor or a manager. So at the moment I wasn't, but I knew what needs to be done. Then I turned up in the meeting because I'm representing someone, and this guy's like, turn up here, you need to have a triple STS or triple STMS. blah blah blah. Then I called him and I'm like, there's someone giving me headache. Can I get the job done? He gave me the course, and I did it. Then when I turned up in another meeting, I'm this kind of person. I just keep quiet most of the times. So scenario, I'm leaving work one of the days and I need to. They were doing a search, so I need to show them my card. So they take a picture and they send me to the management group. So the next day I turn up in this meeting, they're all quiet. And this guy, they will start, I'm telling you the truth, you don't need to promote yourself. Like one day it was like, you don't need to tell them your name. They will just learn how to pronounce your other local name. Because then when I turned up in the meeting, they already knew. They started telling, when they find you doing something, or people doing something, they'll be like, you're a manager, you should know. Then I was like, now you know I am a manager. So there'll be, you just deal with them.
Because we had that discussion and he was telling me, oh, these people are segregating against me, these people are bullying me. I told him, Jonathan, your actions will speak for themselves. You don't need to tell them who you are. They will learn. They will learn to pronounce your name by force. Yeah? They will learn to say Kyeyune by force, by what you do. So I remember that weekend, I told him, Jonathan, by Monday you must have done a triple STS course. That's the only thing they are holding against you. So we did an online triple STS course on the weekend. He did it and passed it. By the way, a lot of people failed it, but he passed it on that weekend. So I told him, now you're going to have your certificate, go back to that meeting, be very quiet. When he says it again, you can show it to him. And now the man's quiet.
Over a weekend, he upgraded his
He upgraded it. But I think he told me something very fundamental yesterday. The thing about the Ghanaian guy that told you about the battle.
This is the battle. In this industry, we have, to me, I look to it as a battle that he told this. I interact with more people that are intelligent than me. That you see, in life you have a sieve. I look to it as a sieve they used to make juice. When you talk to people, you filter what you need for yourself. You don't. But there's some people that you talk to and they will just be like, "You're telling me nothing. I'm not going to listen." There are people, and there are a lot of people in our, place and areas like this that don't want to listen. But this man just told me one thing. Where I am now, don't wait for the battle to come. Let the battle come and you prepared for it. The battle is a promotion you want. When this promotion comes, you're ready to have it. And
because you have the qualifications
they can't stop
already.
you have everything already. So,
So you have to qualify, have your cards ready. By the time someone turns up with this proposal and they ask, oh, who has this? You already have it. He was telling me of a course he wants to do now. So I asked him, why do you want to do this course? Because then he told me some guy on my side is making 30K a month, £30,000. So I asked him why, what is he doing differently that you can't do? Then he told me about the course. So he's going to do that course as well. Yeah. But I think in conclusion to the young people here, we have to seriously look at preparing ourselves for the jobs that you don't pay attention to. And by no means am I saying it's only construction. There is a lot of stuff you can do, you can perform in and do just like these boys have done, right? There's a lot of stuff there. Put yourself out there. Make sure you get the information. They don't even have to be qualifications. Inform yourself. We're living in the information age now. So the strength, your power, your ability is within how much information you have. Today, someone that's doing better than you at something, that they have more information about that something than you do. That's why they're doing better than you. The good thing is this information is free. Most of it, you can find it on the internet. So rather than you being on social media and messing about, you can use that time to get that information. Yes, Jonathan.
Yes, regarding to what he was just saying, this is the situation. When you want to do something, you need to look for who does it and how they do it. They will tell you the how about it. For example, you want to learn how to bake. You like eating cakes, but there is someone who does it. When I approach him and I tell him I want to learn how to make a cake, he's going to tell you, I'll tell you this much to teach you how to make a cake. But when you look here, like there's internet as well. So the decision is yours to choose either to do it your way or his way. Either way, you will transact. And this is the situation why I look in my point of view. We've got a lot of money and tons of money we can make, but we don't have time. So there's a lot to say. You haven't finished the whole story.
Yeah, the whole story. They wanted to tell you about, lastly, how their mother's life has changed because of them. So if you can tell that story quickly.
Our mom had to be here today, but unavoidably she couldn't. But life changed because when we came in with COVID, she knows about the job. He's doing a lot of things, a lot of fast food chef, making some pancakes, and trying to make ends meet. But she supported us from the start, and this is the advice we wanted to give parents as well. But right now, mom's life changed. We stopped half of doing this kind of business, just sit on the jobs, cut the hours, and stay home, look after the other girls and pick them up from school. And also, the message we wanted to give to, goes starting with parents, is the parents need to be supportive. Parents need to, every things that happen at home affect the kids a lot. With regard with the issues that I don't want to go to, marriage issues and all this affects kids, because if there's an incident that I know about that someone's child recently is hanging themselves in the room to death. This is issues parents need to look into, give these kids time, trying to know, support them, because I'm sorry, I'm going to use as an example. Ezra shouldn't be looking after you for the next 40 years because of your own shortcomings. It's your responsibility as a parent, okweterekera n'osebinga akasente kak'ekikadde nti ono omwana alina ebintu bye by'agoba, ate naawe olina okubeera ki nebyo oleme mukalubiriza ate olina musapotinga. So this is the between I'm sorry, I don't know if everybody understands Uganda, but we need to, what I was trying to say is that we should support them until when they grow up, they're going to live and start their own life, but we need to be there than being that, yeah, we fixed it. No,
So in conclusion, concluding, so basically, this goes to the parents as well, and the children as well, all the youths. I think what they should do, parents should be more open and should be willing to accept or to take. For example, the first time we came here, the first thing my mom was saying, you're going to uni, and he was going to school. And my first answer was like, no, I'm not going to uni.
Wow.
That's the thing. And she was like, you have to prove me wrong. And literally, I had to work hard for it. Because he didn't want to go to school, I didn't want to go to uni as well. Another thing is like, parents should take time to speak to their children. Like real talk conversation, not like, I love you, mommy, I love you, daddy. Like, my mom would ask me, what's the crack? Like, what's the plan next? You finish slinging, what's next? And we have to discuss that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Another thing is like, the youth, you have to,
So your journey has not been a university road.
So we're not trashing the university. University is good. That's what I wanted to jump in and say. University is good. Studying is good because acquiring knowledge is good. But you need to know what you're doing so you're not wasting time. I'm going to uni, I'll go there, but you need to know what you're doing so you don't waste time doing something that's not going to be productive, because time is not waiting. And another thing is the purpose. You're doing something because of the purpose. I choose electrical. I'm looking on branding my own brand. I know building my network, starting my own electrical business, running my own electrical company, because that's the path I'm taking. The purpose of what we're doing things, in most cases, like, people will look at this like, when someone is talking to you, asking you how much you get, don't look at the money. The money is not the end goal, the purpose. Money is just a byproduct to lead you there. That's the money will come. That's what I can tell you. The money will come, and it's a lot to be said. Pastor, forgive us more time. Yes.
Your new job, yeah? Don't tell us the exact amount, but we just want a rough idea of what an electrician earns in your position.
In my position,
Yeah.
electrician
Take home.
a
How
month
much?
before tax or
After tax.
After tax.
Let's do before tax.
before tax.
Before tax, so that
Before
is
tax
so.
will be around 7,000 a month.
Mhm.
Yes, around.
So it's about 7K a month before tax. Yeah. So, and that is just a picture. What about in your line of work? Take home. Before tax.
Before tax, because mine varies. If the project is running fast, there's a good advantage you're gonna get something at the end to finish it on time. So basically, my after tax, before tax is like 6,000, and for some good project which helped me buy a house, I got some good
When you
money.
do the extras, when you do setting out, yet you go there to do something.
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing right now, you can get jobs where they need the engineer twice a week or once a week. Those you can get around £1,000 on them jobs, like, so in total if you calculate a week, so that's 2 days on a job as an engineer. Yeah.
Okay, guys, can we appreciate this gentleman?
There's a question.
Okay.
Yes, we have women that do these jobs, and the courses, what I can promise is it's not going to go as fast as you expect it to be. I was doing my voice while I was studying electrical, doing electrical while still studying electrical. So roughly the electrical one will take you about 2 years, 3 years, roughly.
I think what she wants to know is your first electrical course, level 2, which makes you an electrical improver, is about 6 months. So at that point, you then go into a site and start working with an electrician as a helper to that electrician. Then you go on to do your level 3. But you also need to do an NVQ alongside that if you want to make it quicker, because an NVQ is what allows you to actually do the job. Yeah? Many women are encouraged because yeah.
Okay, we need
Many women, they're encouraged as well because the employer gets brownie points for employing females, ethnic minorities, disabled people. So if you're an ethnic minority female, you're ticking 2 boxes.
Okay, Julie, a quick comment and we need to really conclude here. Let's manage the time
very
better.
well, but I have something I need to know. I need help to understand how do you apply your God in all this? Where does God come in? Because it's very, very important to carry the two, the spiritual and the physical. To know God, where do we come in? And also, how do you help young people on tithing and offering and giving? All those things we need to hear them because they are very, very important. We are in the house of God, but we need to balance things to know how do we give, because I hear we are buying houses, we are doing this. I also need to be helped if God blesses me with a job, and if I'm interested with a child, or if I have somebody I'm looking after, how do I help this young person or this young person to guide them or to direct them to you and know that, okay, you are coming, they are coming to you, but also they are going to get the spiritual aspect, if I'm making sense.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that quick balance between acknowledging God. You might not go into the practicalities, but it's acknowledging God in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, the
So
point.
basically, I think Jaja knows it, where I come from. I come from an elder's family. So my grandfather is an elder, and all the way up.
Yeah.
It's so spiritual, so it's natural within us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how lucky we are.
Okay.
So everything is like I'm on there.
Everything just spoken about us. I mean, he knows about our journey. Growing up in church family,
Yeah.
over church elder,
Yeah.
and we were being nurtured about tithe and offering,
Yeah.
going to church every Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't work on Saturdays unless it's an emergency, but it's hard for me to go and work on Saturdays.
So in getting the jobs, you pray.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm an
And
Adventist. Yes, we
I
do
wanted
pray.
to hear that because
Yes.
we want to hear it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, can we appreciate this guy so much?